Asia and Spanning Gateway. I want to talk about a couple of things. I usually have a lesson plan, already and stuff, but I'm just going to freestyle it. That works well too, just depending on what the vibe is. Feel me? But I want to talk about raising collective consciousness and what those words mean and what because people have their own perspective of what that means, and a lot of people think it's like some bullshit. Just depending on where you are spiritually, whatever your location is. Um, but when we can come to our own understanding from our own perspective when we're able to go to the source of things, like if you want to use words, the dimension of words, which we're going to use right now because this is the type of practicality that people seem to need because they're not really able to connect to their spiritual side. They're more intuitive side, because this world is so masculine dominated in its principles, and everything is really material wise when it comes to people's thoughts, spirits, and what they pay attention to, their consciousness, very material wise. So if we're taking something from a different state of being, we're moving to a different location from one to another, right? Because if it's um, raising, then that means it was lower, right? It's two states, different states of being. You see that? You see that? Look, there's the northern hemisphere, the southern hemisphere. If you can see that on the star map, here is the which way am I going? Here is the horizon line, horizon, and then we have the daytime, and then the nighttime. Ooh, wrong way. Okay. If you're familiar with the astrology chart, it depends where you are. But and that has a whole lot of meaning. I mean, it's just, here we go. Okay, so that's raising, taking it from one state, the lower, to the higher, right? Where you're got lower natures, where you're acting in ugly behaviors, or your higher natures when you're more connected to your higher self, your higher state of being. These are states of being, different dimensions. Not like you can just ding yourself there. You're already there. Anyway, so raising, and then collective. That means a collection of people. Um, boy, excuse me, I have a child. Ugh, you're distracting me. Move your head. Anyways, God dang. Okay, raising, one state to another, collective, a collection of beings, the species of humans. That's what, when people use raising collective consciousness, they're talking about human beings, or if you want to call yourself that, whatever you are, because there's different states of being of what we call humans, or really spirits, or energy, whatever you want to call yourself, okay? So, the collective of a species, skin color is not a species or a race. It is the human race. That's the source of it, is that species. And then it was built upon to become an identification of people. But anyway, so the collective of the human race, right? Consciousness. Consciousness has to do with what we are conscious of in this day and time. So it's raising one from one state to another, from paying attention to what lower forms, and raising us paying attention to higher forms. Not just being aware. Being aware is great. Awareness is great, but it's about really taking the time to pay attention to the right things. And that goes for the duality, for the self and taking responsibility for the self and what the self gives to the universe. So that's a perspective of raising collective consciousness, right?